Wellness Wednesday. Mark and I were talking this morning about farming and food and health and deception and how deep it goes when you start talking about food and health and farming and healthcare system and how did we get here. It's frustrating and it's a major rabbit trail. I know some of you, welcome everyone, who have dived down that rabbit trail, and it's a long one. But we both, as we talked about it, kind of agreed that there's a point where you can climb back out a little bit and take ownership of things. So by talking about homesteading, that's one way of taking back ownership of the system. Because now you can grow your own food, your own stuff. You know what has gone into it, and you know how your animals have been raised, all these things. You've taken back ownership. So no matter how much negative stuff is going on in commercial agriculture, you've created your little thing. And the same is true with health. Boy, you don't have to go too far to see how that works with all of the talk around masks, people that are scared to death of something that kills a very, very small actual percentage of people. But they've been deceived and they've bought into it, and they're taking something that comes with such a long list of side effects that it's mind-boggling what they will accept. But it's all deception. So taking ownership of your food system and your health. I believe God gave us everything to be healthy. We don't know how to use it a lot of times, or we don't learn until it gets to the level of manifestation, which is actually a 4th or 5th level of disease. It starts way earlier. And the ancient medical scientists knew this, and they developed treatments for it. The old herbalists and the ladies that were out collecting herbs and wild things under the full moon at night, the crazy ladies, they knew that everything we need is here for us. I, a long time ago, decided that I have a healthcare team, of which I am the CEO. I'm the boss of my healthcare team. On my team, I have a doctor who is cooperative with my viewpoint. And I had to look for someone like that. I've got a chiropractor. I just found someone who can do body work and does a great job. I also have my mentors in Ayurvedic health. They're all on my team. And I pull on their expertise as needed. From them, I have learned skills on how to take care of myself. Lifestyle is what it's all about. God gave us times to rest, times to eat, foods to eat. We talk as the kids and I are shopping about edible non-foods. And the grocery stores are absolutely chock full of them. Edible non-foods. Even some things that people call good food, like pasteurized, homogenized milk. It's on the outer ring of the grocery store, right? But your body doesn't know what to do with it. It's an edible non-food as far as your body is concerned. So all of these tools that we have that he's given us, and he also gave us a self-monitoring system, a biofeedback system. These are your senses. Your gut is one of your biggest senses. It tells you when things are just starting to go a little awry. You got a little upset stomach because you ate too much or drank too much or ate something that doesn't agree with you. This is a sense. that helps keep you on track and help you figure out, well, this works for me or this doesn't. You get your lifestyle in rhythm with how things work. Mark was talking today, as part of our discussion, about how now that he's changed his diet up, gotten rid of the things that cause inflammation, like processed breads, and we don't eat much potatoes anyway, but a lot of things that just bring inflammation in. Now that he's gotten rid of them, his senses are clearing. I was just editing a video today, and it was really steady. So his nerves are getting steadier. He said it's like looking through a brand new car windshield. His eyes are improving. Hearing is way better. Your inputs affect your outlook, and your outlook affects your reality. What happens when you don't hear well, or when your hearing is irritated? I have one son who would very much like to be cool like his older brothers, like Joe that you met last night. He wants to be like that. And what they do is they walk around with their phones and their earbuds all the time listening to stuff. So that's what he figures he ought to do. But when he does that, he gets really irritable, because having that electronic sound going into your ears with the intensity that an earbud does, even if it's not turned way up, it traps air in there, and it changes how your ear functions, because your ear is a finely tuned instrument, and it's designed to function with space, and that earbud takes a lot of that space out of your ear canal between the space and how the sound comes in, and he gets irritable. His input affects his outlook, and it sure affects his reality, because he's not happy and he makes the world around him unhappy. So we had to talk about this. I have another daughter who has the same problem with earbuds, except she gets ear infection type symptoms. So she has to really be careful with that. I had a stiff neck this week after seeing the chiropractor, and he put in, I think, every vertebra from the middle of my back up to the base of my skull, and it hurt. The solution to all of these things is really easy, and I had to be reminded of it for my neck pain, but it actually works. In Ayurvedic thinking practice, you can oil every orifice of your body. It helps calm your nerves, calm the nerves that are involved with that sense. It helps give grounding, and it can help that organ to function optimally. So when our ears get irritated, I have oil, and you just put a drop in, rub it in with your little finger, and voila. That'll help your ear clean out excess wax, calm when it's been really irritated with these space issues with earbuds. It helps relax your neck muscles, which is really phenomenal. But if you know anything about the fascial system and nerves, it's really phenomenal and amazing. So oil in the ears is a way to help take care of your ears. My God-given mask, I take care of with a little oil in my nose with a little eucalyptus in it, because that helps it to clean, stay well moisturized, especially in the winter, so that it functions properly to filter all of the viruses, germs, dust, dirt, all that stuff that your nose is designed to keep out of your body. Helps your nose work well. So your senses are a huge part of your biofeedback system, because how else do you get to know what's out in your world? If you can't see it, smell it, hear it, taste it, you don't know what's going on out there. So protecting your senses is an easy way to take ownership of your health and improve it just for nothing. Everybody has oil in their house, right? I use sesame oil. You can use olive oil. As far as that goes, that's a real kind of neutral oil. It works for lots of things. But your senses are the key. In order to learn these things, because it's sort of like forgotten knowledge, just like what we talk about and what we teach with homesteading and regenerative agriculture, is things that we're having to learn over because our grandparents and great-grandparents, it didn't get handed down. The ways to be your own best farmer and take care of yourself and take ownership of your health are a lot in that same category, and we're having to relearn them. So I found a mentor. I worked on a team. I learned the skills, the lifestyle habits, and how to use the things around me and take advantage of just what God's put here to take care of my health and my family's health and get things back on track, keep things on track because life happens. So that's your Wellness Wednesday tip. Read up, do what you already know, because a lot of times we know, we just don't do. So then the knowing doesn't do you any good. Get a mentor to teach you these lost skills and help you apply them in the context of your personal life, because all of us come at it from different perspectives, different backgrounds. We've done different things to our bodies over the years. So using these tools and helping us be accountable, because change is hard. It's necessary. Ownership is hard. Doing what you know you need to do is hard. But when you have a mentor, they hold you accountable and they teach you what you need to know. Ownership is doership. To take it back full cycle. So we're homesteading, we're growing our own food, we're doing the thing to take ownership of our food system. Doership in your healthcare is how you take ownership of your health, which is very important. It all goes together. So that's what I have for you. Mark's here.
Yep. Take it away.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome. How did she do for you? If she did good, can we have some thumbs ups? Created by divine design. You know what? I didn't bring my glasses in. That was dumb.
Okay.
But anyway, we're ready to go. This is our Q&A night, and we're already into it. Well, it's 13 minutes. That's not bad. I was working today. I put the finishing touches on the new bathtub that I'm going to be putting in, and it's actually installed down in the. There was the first question from Jonathan, so I'll answer that one. But it's installed down in the butcher shop, and wow, this is my eyesight is improving, but all right, we're ready to rock. But I got the tub completely installed down in the butcher shop, which you might be saying, why are you doing that? Well, in order to do the rebuild on the kitchen, the bathroom in here in the house, we got to have a tub someplace, you know, because we got to take showers and stuff. So Jonathan asked, how is the carnivore diet going? I'll answer that first. It's going really good. That was what started the conversation between Jill and I this morning. And I just started off by saying, you know what, this is really profound, the effect this is having on me. Oh, I know what it was. It's going to be a little gross, but
Why not?
why not? When you go, number two, if you know, I guess we think that, well, you got to have toilet paper, but you never see the animals do that. You never see them with a messy butt unless they're sick, unless there's something wrong. Once in a while you'll see it, and something's wrong, and it'll dry and then fall off. But with with us, I mean, and our diet, it seemed like if you don't have toilet paper, you're in trouble. I think that's why people freaked out so bad about the toilet paper thing. But, you know, being Jill's my good best buddy, you know, I had to tell her this morning I didn't need to use toilet paper this morning. And it was small. And I ate a lot of meat yesterday. I mean, quite a bit. I ate a lot of meat. Yeah, I had a big steak about 10 o'clock. And then last night we had all that beaver meat. And I ate a lot of it. I was hungry. And that's the thing about this carnivore diet. You can eat as much meat as you want. You can eat it all day long if you want. But for me, I've been having, well, I had 2 eggs this morning, which is a little different, but they were in beef broth. And then that held me over until about 11, but it was later than that because I had to go to town to get some fittings for this tub. And so that took up a lot of time. And so then I cooked up a steak late and I ate that. And then you're just not hungry. You're really just not hungry. I mean, it just does away with the feeling like, well, it's dinner time, so I better eat. I'm just not hungry. So, been losing a lot of weight, I think. Feels like it. I don't have a scale in the house, but maybe I ought to get one just for fun. But other things have changed too, like my tinnitus. I have tinnitus from being around loud things and my ears ring, but it's not so bad right now. It's really not so bad. It's way in the distance. It's not right here. This is going to sound gross too, but last night would have been my number. I'm telling all my personal things here, but in the wintertime, I usually take a shower every other night, right? Everybody does. In the summer, you can't do that, but so every other night. Now, last night, I had to think, now, is this my shower night or not? And usually, I don't have to think about it. By day 2, it's kind of like at the end of the day, that's 48 hours, and you just feel kind of crawly, you know? My head's kind of itchy, you know, and I'm kind of crawly. Last night, I wasn't. And I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna go to bed. So I did. So 3 days. And that seems kind of gross, but here I am at the end of it, and I don't feel like I haven't had a shower in 3 days. I really don't, you know, I really don't. And, you know, you can smell yourself. I don't stink. And I don't have, you know, wetness in my armpits that chafes me or any place else. I don't have that. So that's gone. So, I don't know, there's something to this. This is only 13 days. And I don't see any reason to stop this. I mean, when I think about eating a piece of bread right now, I say, no, I know that is going to bring a lot of stuff that I don't need. And in many, many ways, I think that to fortify your position, I need to be more agile. I need to be able to work longer and harder and all that stuff. And what a thing to say. But I didn't say it didn't stink. I just said it wasn't the gargantuan big brown trout. You know what I'm saying there, James? It wasn't. It was just a little kiver. It was a little brookie. That's where everything goes with my little boys. Everything always goes to poop and pee. Everything. If you want to laugh, let's start talking about poop and pee.
Or farts.
Or farts, yeah. That's good. All right, so there it is. Day 13, giving you a little update. I'm feeling good. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to use my new shower tonight. It's down in the butcher shop. We still have this one, but I'm not going to, I want to try it out real time, make sure it's okay. I had to do some insulating of the floor down there and all that stuff to make sure that, make sure everything was going to be good. If people are going to be stepping on the concrete floor, I didn't want any stray voltage out there. All right, so I'm ready to take some some questions. We talk about homesteading, we talk about small farms, and just plain living. You know, we talk about the more we're looking at this, if you're on okay, for me, this is the ultimate because the guy that I got into this with was Sean Baker, and he's an MD. We got similar backgrounds, but the difference with me is the meat that I'm eating, I raised it and then I killed it and I processed it. So I've got the whole system right here. So I'm almost like I'm the lab rat, and I'm able to talk and say, well, this is what's happening. And being I'm a little bit older, I'm not going to just tell you that I can run faster and jump higher just for the fun of telling you that. And I don't think any of this stuff is the placebo effect. You know, the huge brown trout, the sardine, you can't. You probably want proof, don't you, James? Okay, I can do that. All right. Okay, I'm ready to take questions, and Jill can take questions too if you like. And give us the thumbs up. Okay.
All right, Cody has 2 6-month-old gilts around 225 to 250 pounds. They've been with the boar since they were 75 pounds. Haven't noticed them start a heat cycle yet. When should that be, and how long would you give them to farrow?
How old are
6
they?
months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up on them yet. Are they Mangalitas? Did he say if they're Mangalita?
Cody B, he didn't say. But they don't usually come in until between 6 and 9 somewhere, do they?
Yeah. Yep, you're right in the zone. You know, give them some time. Don't give up on them yet. They seem kind of big for 6 months. Are they on automatic feeders by any chance?
Yeah.
Because
if Duroc and Old Spot.
Okay, if they're on automatic feeders, they're going to get way too big. So you better cut their feed back. At 6 months, that's pretty big pig. Or are you just estimating? You know, but that seems pretty big. There's a difference between automatic feeding and hand feeding. When you're feeding your sows, you want them to have, give or take, 5 pounds of feed of dry matter a day, give or take. And you know, when they're lactating, they're going to eat more, so you just give them more. But if before they lactate and before they're even bred, if they have access to a feeder, that's not good. They'll be getting up in the middle of the night and eating, and they start to use their tank never runs dry, like Bill says. So their stomach is always in a state of unrest, and that's not good. You want them to empty out. So you want them to sleep at night and empty out first thing in the morning, and then eat again, right? So hand feeding is the way to go. The way they do it in confinement is they have feed in front of them all the time with the lights on. So the pigs there's nothing for them to do except eat, and they eat a lot like that. And it's not good. It doesn't make a healthy animal. And where you're doing, these are going to be sows, they're going to be with you for a while. So you're going to want to cut their feed back because they're going to be
he
monsters.
only feeds twice daily.
I only feed once.
When he does free choice feed, they get 300 pounds. But the Duroc will get big fast, like those gals out there did.
Yeah.
So.
That's big. Okay.
But they're only 6 months even at that. So.
I'd cut their feed back. I just would. They should be pretty concerned when they see you that it's time to eat. But, you know, do what you want.
Lone Star wanted to know if I had any suggestions for getting rid of eye inflammation that occurs from looking at farmer drawings.
Okay. Okay, keep pushing it. A man can only take so much, though, I'll tell you that. Next question, please. All right, we're out of questions.
That'd be quick.
Do you wanna fire some questions out? Okay. Here's from
How do I
Mike
transport
Mann.
and store bulk feed? Meat, chicken feed by the ton.
Oh, there's a couple ways, but a really good way is to get one of those totes. What do they call those totes? You know, the big white totes with the cage around them. You find them, people sell them. Get one that has not had anything in it that you wouldn't want to poison your chicks, and then put it in the back of a pickup. They fit in the back of a full-size pickup. Even two of them do. And they'll hold nearly, I think they'll hold nearly a ton. But you probably, so you want to cut the top off of this thing. Yeah. No, if you're going to put them in a pickup, that means you're going to have to lift them out. If you have something that you can lift out, a tote with forks, if you can lift them out with forks, then you can fill it right up to the top. And I think it will be, I think they hold 1,000 pounds of chicken feed, or of, you know, ground feed, corn, soy type feed, I think. But if you are going to lift them out with a chain on a bucket loader, you should only fill them about 3/4 of the way. Because the cage, you know, the places where you would chain it on there, they can give way, right? If you get it too heavy. So I would look around, Mike, and see if there's a feed supply company that does delivery of bulk feed. And a lot of times you can get it delivered cheaper, and you don't have to use your equipment to go get it. And if that's the case, you know, they bring it, the truck has a big auger on the back, and then they swing it around, they can fill up your totes, and maybe your totes could even be inside when they fill them, because they have a big long auger on the back. We did that for years and years and years before we had our bin. And now that we have the bin, we get 6 tons at a time, and we get, the truck comes and fills it, and then we auger off the bottom of it for all of our needs. All right, that's the way we do it. It's got to be inside though, because if it gets rained on, it's gonna destroy it. Okay.
Lone Star asked, is buying bulk considerably cheaper than the convenience of the 50-pound bags?
Oh yeah. If you buy bulk, they're coming to you. The 50-pound bags, you know, you gotta, like, if you buy a few of them, you gotta put them in some sort of cart, push them up to the front, you know, the register, and then you gotta lug them out to your car, load them in your car, then get them home, then load them wherever you're gonna put them. But if it's put in a tote or some other big container, then you're just scooping it out and filling feeders, or scooping it out. And maybe what we have is a wheelbarrow. It's a Rubbermaid. It's got big wheels on it, and we have a top for it. So we'll put it under the auger on the grain bin, and then hit the button. It's got an electric auger on it, electric motor that turns the auger, and we'll fill up the wheelbarrow, and then push it right out to where the chickens are on the field. So, you know, it's small enough, but it's big enough. You know, if it's too big and it has to be moved with the tractor, then Rachel gets frustrated if I don't do it like right now, you know. So she likes to where she can just kind of control the whole thing, which I get. Plus, it's a lot cheaper. The stuff you get in a bag usually is like big name, like Purina and stuff like that. It's pretty expensive. So ask around and see what the prices are. See if you can find a bin. Really, a bin would be nice to have. Crunchy Mama. All right. Welcome, Crunch. They got a new calf, I heard. I'm wondering how the cleric's calf's doing. Both of them could be having a baby as we speak. Couldn't they? They could.
That's right.
She's up there.
Right. There's a contest between
Yeah.
her and the cow. Yep.
All right, what do you got?
Electric for pigs. Because it's getting to where it's spring and the pigs are starting to find enough dirt to dig. So maybe you could talk about your electric standoff and keeping an eye. How do you know when the pigs are defeating an area fence?
Oh, all right. Well, I had it both in one day. You know, we turn the electric fences off in the wintertime because we have so much snow that they get covered. And when the snow on the outside, snow on the inside, the pigs they're not looking to go anyplace. They're just waiting for you to feed them. As soon as the snow starts to recede and they can get a little bit of grass at the fence line, they'll start working on it. And when we see that, because I'm hand feeding, so I see them when I go out, I'll just plug the fence in, and usually I'll hear a noise. It's kind of a yipe. And then I know that the fence is working good. So I got both my fences turned on right now, and they're just working really good. We still have quite a bit of snow, but in the pig pens, it's down below the stubby posts. So working good. Yeah.
How tall are your stubby posts again?
My stubby posts are 1 foot off the ground and 1 foot in from the fence. Is there a direct question about that, or are you just...
No,
Okay.
I'm just feeding
Okay.
questions. By the way, maybe you could mention we've got a video about making the woven wire fence.
Yeah, we have a fencing
We're gonna be
video.
adding to that this summer.
Yeah, there's a fencing video. Hey, John Bates. On bakersgreenacres.com, and Jill's going to be adding to it. And that's one of those videos you got to pay for. But then there's a lot of good information in there. And in our conversation this morning, it was really intense. And I wanted to kind of remember what we talked about so I could share it with you guys. So I wrote some stuff down. And I wrote down, well, about the diet, I wrote down it's a serious impact. And I thought it's a serious impact from a couple of different points of view. Because I'm not eating all this cream puffs and junk and stuff like that and just kind of, going around like a zombie, I can do more. And I can do more meaningful work, and I can make better decisions and things like that. So the long-term impact of taking care of, myself is going to have a big effect on the farm. And we already see that if you're willing to share information, you can have a big effect on the world, right? And all right, this is going to seem a little weird, but I think now we're starting to see, or not have such a hard time with a statement like, damn, we've been lied to about a lot of stuff. I don't have a problem with that statement anymore. I really don't. We've been lied to about a whole lot of stuff. And instead of opening our eyes and making observations, we wait to be told, well, how do I deal with fertility on my field? Oh, go ask the guy at the fertilizer company. He'll tell you how to do it. And he's smart. He's been to college, so he knows about fertility. Well, now let's look at that. Is that long-term fertility, or is it sort of like taking steroids, for the year? You get a real big bang out of it, but then you fall down pretty far afterwards, so you got to take twice as many steroids. I think that's kind of what it is, long-term fertility. And I know what it was. Small statements can have the hugest impact on people and on society. They can have a huge impact. So the statement like, there ain't no free lunch, or maybe more specific to farming is, there ain't no money in farming, that can have a huge impact on society, because who wants to get into something that there ain't no money in? Who wants to do that? And when we started doing it, I had a job, and it was sort of like a cool thing that we were doing at home. And the more we did it, we started seeing a lot of extra. Wow, we just butchered 2 beef. Look at these extra meat that we have here. Let's sell one. Oh, look at this. What are we going to do with this? So there was a lot of extra in it. So don't tell me there ain't no money in farming. I think when you put it up against like maybe investment banking or insurance companies and stuff like that, yeah, it doesn't care, but it's more like the tortoise and the hare. You know, the hare makes these bursts, you know, of huge bucks, but the tortoise, you know, just slow, steady. And if you can add to that extreme health, I mean, if you could attain extreme health, would less dollars be worth it? I think so. I mean, it would be to me anyway. So when we were talking about this morning, I said, this is a really cool experiment because we have all the components here, and we have a family of people who are willing to do the carnivore diet. I mean, I'm not the only one here. There's other people that are willing to do it. Jill said, you know, I think I'm going to do that. And I said, I would. And I even called my oldest son. I said, you ought to look at this. You really should look at this. And some of my little kids are saying, yeah, I'll do it. You know, and I don't care if they go strict carnivore or what. It doesn't really make any difference for them, I don't think. But I don't know everything there is to know about it. But here we have this deal where we can sit and think about how to get better quality grass and then execute some measures to get better quality grass. We can do that, right? I mean, if we sit around and talk about how do we get better grass, you know, is there things to know? Google it, right? How to get better quality grass. So if we think about that, and let's say we want to take extreme measures to make our compost the best, perfect compost for our fields that we possibly can, we can do that. You know, send it off to Logan Labs. Hey, what do we need? Then get that stuff, mix it in, take our time to do it, mix it well, and then do patches of land and see what an increase we get, and then kill the cows ourselves, make hamburger and steaks and roast and stuff, and then we're the lab rats, we eat it. Let's say that we could attain extreme health. Let's say you could. Ooh, just, you know, would you still say there ain't no money in farming? I don't know about that. I don't know. I suppose what I could do is I could build a quarters here, and I could say, yeah, well, it'll take 6 months, but you have to come live here, and there's nothing in your freezer except extremely high quality grass-fed beef, and you're going to get half beef and half fat and all the pure water you can drink. You get 1 cup of coffee in the morning. The rest of the time you have to help me. And then you got to pay me on top of it, right? And when you leave here in 6 months, you will be a lean, mean fighting machine, right? Yeah, that'd be a good one to do. I could do that. I need a lab rat. Any volunteers for lab ratedness? Got to bring your own camper though. Okay. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh, a little constructive criticism from our point of view. One of the things that I heard Dr. Sean say was that, nah, beef, it doesn't really matter. Grass-fed, feed-lotted, doesn't really matter. But, you know, I'm gonna say it does to me. Maybe it doesn't to him, but it does to me, because if you look at the system that was in place long before we got here, of all this myriad of grasses that come up out of the ground, and we don't really do anything to make that happen. That happens. I mean, we sort of think, oh, well, I'm going to grow alfalfa, so I kill everything else and then put alfalfa in, and then, oh, these other things are coming up, so I'll spray poison on the alfalfa. The alfalfa won't die because it's genetically modified, and you think you're doing a good thing. Well, we're going to feed it to cows and drink their milk. Good idea. But the feed-lotted cows are eating stuff that will get them fat, but it's not good stuff, you know. And anything that's in there that is not good is going to wind up in their fat. And your body is not a sugar burner. It is a fat burner. So it's sort of like you have a really high performance car and you just say, well, I'm going to mix diesel fuel in with my gasoline, or I'm going to mix in vegetable oil with the gasoline, just to save a little money, right? And the thing's chugging along, you know, and it starts to weaken the engine because it makes weird pressures in there. And whereas if you give it nice high test, high octane fuel, and you know, it runs consistent all the time, you'll get longevity out of that engine. So we're like that. We're a pretty high speed machine when you think about all the things we can do, you know. I was fixing the refrigerator the other day and I had to reach in there 3 feet with my arm and make a small adjustment. And I thought, that's pretty good that I can do that. You know, that's pretty good. Hold a screwdriver, turn it this way or this way, you know, down, over, around. That's pretty good stuff, pretty good machinery. And if you give it good fuel, and the good fuel for the human body, period, is fat. But we've been told that fat's not good. And we've been told, well, if you have to have fat, have vegetable fat. Well, what does vegetable fat convert to when you have it in a Mountain Dew or anything else? What does it convert to? Anyone? We better get some thumbs ups going here, or Al Gore's going to be upset. It converts to sugar. Even if you eat Brussels sprouts, it converts to sugar. And then when your body burns sugar, you have really bad side effects, sweaty pits, you know, all kinds of stuff. Weird smells in your nose that won't go away. I don't have that anymore. You know, feeling like I had 4 beers when I wake up in the morning, you know, like have a bread hangover. Yeah. I don't have that anymore. So let's see, where was I going with that? So yeah, the statement, ain't no money in farming. Okay, well, what if there's extreme health? Does that outweigh money? Or, you know, would I want to be, you know, really unhealthy and barely can move, but have a lot of money? Nah, not me. I want to be able to move around and do the things outside I want to do, and, you know, still be able to function, all my body parts function the way they're supposed to, and, you know, all that. That's what I want. All right, and be able to go a long time. My father was 95, 94 when he died. I want to go at least that, you know, because I want to see my kids and their kids and all that stuff. And there's good times at that age if you're healthy, and I want to be. Oh, I was on the wrong page. How about that? I'm having a senior moment. Oh well. Anyway.
I can get you your paper.
I know I wrote down something. I wrote 3 different things, and I wrote them because I wanted to remember when we came in tonight. Anyway, I can rant anyway. All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here's what I was gonna say. This is good. If you cop the attitude that, well, beef coming from a feedlot is as good as a beef coming off a farm, if you believe that, I think you need to look at that a little bit more. I mean, respectfully to anybody that would say that, I'd say look at that a little bit more. And when you get to the place where I am right now, where I'm actually eating what I killed, right? You ever hear that expression? Eat what you kill, right? So you eat what you kill. Like if you're in sales, you eat what you kill. So whatever you sell, you get a bite on it, right? Eat what you kill. So these steaks that I'm frying down there, I'm the one that pulled the trigger. I'm the one that raised those animals too. And they ate my grass out here. And when they were big enough, I was the one that pulled the trigger. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think there's more of an effect when you eat what you kill. Because good health and longevity isn't just something that kind of just happens. No, there's a sacrifice involved, right? So you're learning how to do something, and then you're working through the uncomfortable moments of it. And then when you come out the other side, your goal is good health. So I wrote down here, eat what you kill, sacrifice to live. I mean, it makes sense to me at this point, and I'm only 13 days in. Where am I going to be at 30 days? I don't know. Okay, and then I wrote down here another thing too that's been really impressed on me lately is a minimalist lifestyle. You know, there's times when I will see, oh, I don't know, maybe a show or something like that, and somebody will open their closet and they've got all these $3,000 suits there. And I think, I ain't even got one. And I'll think, you know, one of these days I got to get my act together, you know. But the minimalist in me, you know, feels really good about having very little and having very little to choose from as far as what I'm going to wear or what I'm going to put on my feet. Because with the minimalist attitude, I can focus on what is important. What is important. To me, anyway. To me. Anyway, I'm ready for questions. Is that Luann? Luann agrees with me.
Yep. You're minimalist.
Minimalist.
Jonathan has a neighbor that does organic kerns of wheat for cereals and stuff. Would that make a good feed source for pigs?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, wheat's good for them. Remember, when we're feeding animals, it's not like you're feeding, you know, like maybe you have a dog, right? That's sort of part of your family. You're going to want to feed that animal for longevity. When you're feeding pigs, you're going to slaughter them at 2 years. I have this feeling too about feeding pigs. You know, I've had people say to me, "Oh, I don't want to feed that because they might have used GMO corn in it." I kind of feel like the GMO process and the potential poisons that are on that corn the animal's gonna bear the brunt of that. And by the time it gets to me, it's completely minimalized. That is my feeling, and I can't back that up with anything. Maybe I shouldn't say it. But I just don't have a strong read on organic feeds. Organic feeds seem to be in the same category as some of the things in the organic world, like getting certified organic, right? So I can have an organic certifier come in twice a year, $2,000 a shot, and then I can say certified organic on my label. Boop. Now, once the guy leaves, I can do whatever I want. So it's sort of an integrity thing. Or I can just sell to the people who want to buy from me the same stuff that I'm feeding my kids. You know, I think the whole organic thing, well, I know, I don't know the exact dates when it switched, but it used to be, if you wanted to be an organic grower, you needed two things. You needed a ponytail and a pair of Birkenstocks. But now, if you want to be a organic grower, you got to be certified by no less than the U.S. government. Oh, we can trust that little certification, can't we? Yeah, these days we sure can. We sure can. All right, next question, please.
James couldn't remember what brand of electric fencer you recommended for a 12-volt system.
I have two. I have a Paramark that I got like 20 years ago at a Big R out in Montana, and it's called the Stallion, right? So it's got a horse on it, rear and back like this, and it gives a whale of a shock. Thing's old, it's been out in the rain and everything, it's supposed to be inside, but keeps going. And then I have a Zanbara. Is that how that's pronounced, I think? And it's a 30-miler. And it's not too big. It's about this big. It's nice. It's got a light on it that's bright enough you can see. Guy gave it to me. He didn't need it anymore. He wasn't sure it was working, but he gave it to me, and I plugged it in. It worked fine. Or I hooked it up to a battery. It worked fine. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Honey wondered, what are the personalities of different pigs? I think she's meaning breeds of pigs, maybe. Several years ago, a Michigan YouTuber almost died from a pig tusk piercing his leg.
He almost died? Must have been a serious wound.
Yeah. He got infection, blood poisoning or something.
Well, some of them are definitely more crazy than others. It seems like the white ones, they've taken them out of the confinement operations, and you just look at them, and they just look wild-eyed. Like there's nothing. There's no intellect behind those eyes. There's just a machine that wants food. And yeah, they're kind of crazy. They scream a lot, you know, and I don't really like them. I don't like any of the industrial use pigs too much. The further you can get away from them, it seems like the better it is. Mangalites are known for being kind of skittish, so they move away from you, which is good, because if you have something to do in there, you don't want them mobbing you. You really don't. And we've had it before where we have some pigs that just want to be petted like dogs. And you can imagine, 20 big pigs kind of charging you for a pet or to see what you have in your pocket. It can be a little difficult, especially if you have to stoop down out there and do something, tie your shoe or something like that. You could wind up getting torn to pieces. But the whole tusking issue, now, I'm not sure of every incident, but the incidents that I personally know of, like when Jill got it, it was not because he didn't like her. It was actually because he did like her. So pigs can tell when a woman is in, a boar pig, and he will think that well, okay, that's what I'm here for. So, and you'll notice when he is going after one of the sows, he'll kind of push her around, and they have this tusk that comes out of the top jaw. It comes down and then up, and it's out like that. So it comes down and up, and then they have the bottom ones too. And when those tusks are way out there, they have a way of swinging their heads. So they have a tendency to kind of walk past the person, from behind. They'll walk past and then swing their head back. Or they'll walk straight on and swing their head back. We have Kathleen Connolly. She got it right on the back of her leg, right in the knee, which is a bad place to get cut like that. She got it good. She had a gash about like that. Jill got it on her shin, and she didn't have a gash, but she had an abrasion. So it was pretty decent. You just got to know. You just got to kind of take it as it comes. If they're aggressive more than once, and it's not just a one-time thing, and it's not a one-time thing, then they need to be out of there. You don't want anything like that running around on your farm, for sure. You don't want dangerous animals on the farm. At least I don't. I had a bull here that was a great bull. He was very, very valuable, but he was dangerous. And because of his value, I wanted to keep him. But when he was gone, I was relieved, and I said, no more of that. We're not going to do that anymore. Because I worry about a child or somebody else's child, somebody comes visit and their kid wanders off, something like that. That would not be good. Are you doing okay?
Yeah.
We're at 57.
Yep. Anthony said he killed a rooster a couple days ago that attacked his 2-year-old.
There you go.
We've always said, no mean boys on the farm. No mean animals.
No.
It's not worth it.
No. No, you don't want, especially a little kid like that, gets scared, could continue to be scared, and, hopefully the rooster's gone, and by the time he's 2.5, he'll have forgotten about it and not be scared. But yeah, I wouldn't put up with anything like that.
All right, Crunchy Mama, their septic goes in next month. They're thinking 1,000-gallon tank with a 500-gallon-a-day field. Any thoughts? They have a pipe leach field, sandy soil with some clay.
That's plenty. You're not gonna be using that amount of water really, unless it's full production 24-hour a day, which I don't think it's going to be. And plus, the ability of your ground to absorb the clear water that runs off of your septic system is going to be way better than mine, right? Another thing to think about. In a septic system, the way it works, do people know how a septic system works? Real quick, I'll kind of draw it up, because what happens in a septic system, if you understand it, it works in other things too, right? So let me go to the whiteboard. All right, so let's say you have a drain line coming in from the shop, so in that you're going to have bloody water, small pieces of whatever, fat and things like that. They're going to run down there, and it runs into a tank. Sometimes they make these out of concrete, sometimes they're plastic, sometimes they're made out of block, and then they seal them up on the inside, but they have a solid bottom. And then there's a tube that goes out this way, usually about a 4-inch tube. And I'm going to turn what I'm going to draw here, I'm going to turn it this way. You get me? I'm going to turn it. and we'll go out into a drain field that can look, I'll just draw this one really simple. Something like this. So this is a drain field, and this pipe is perforated. And it may be a lot longer than that, but that's just the simple perforated means it's got holes in it. All right, so when the stuff comes in here, on the bottom here, you're going to have all the solids. So if this was the house, you would have all the solids down here, all the poop and all that stuff. Now, when they come in, they're full of bacteria. So then you're going to get water coming in on top of it. And then the clearer stuff, as this is dissolved down here, because the bacteria down there is going to eat. And then the clearer liquids are going to rise to the top and they're going to drain off here. So they're actually cleaned by the bacteria that's in the tank. They're cleaned by it. So if you have an effective tank, you shouldn't have to really be emptying that tank. But what happens is the stuff on the very bottom here, after a while it kind of dries out. Nothing gets to it, no fresh water gets to it, and it makes a layer of, impermeable sludge that bacteria isn't in it and is migrated out of it, and it's no longer working. And that layer will get a little bit more and more and more and more and more. So, but from a butcher shop, you're putting in fats and proteins, right? Not just turds and urine from the house. But then from the house, you're also putting in soap. That's a dumb thing to be putting into the septic system, but people do it. I mean, we all do it because they don't want to drain that off a different way. But we probably should. I mean, soapy water from the dishwasher should probably go into a tank, and then we could probably use it to water the lawn, would be a better idea. Or even this water coming off of here, once it's cleaned through there, it's really kind of a waste to just let it soak down into the soil. It should actually be utilized on the top of the grass, really, in reality. I could see why they don't want you to do that, because people wouldn't manage it properly, and you could have some bad things happen, I suppose. But that's pretty much how a drain field works. So putting 500 gallons a day out into this field, that's a pretty good sized field. A 500 gallon field is a big field. I don't think you'll need it, but I suppose the guys that sold you on the idea thought that maybe you should. 500 gallons a day, that's a lot of water. But you may wind up, butchering 24/7 there too. I don't know if your plans have changed. But there you go. And usually this has a top on it so they can occasionally drop a line down into here on a sucker truck and suck all this sludge out of here. And then you have to start over again. There's a product called Ridex, and if you have a drain field that smells, that means you've got water that's spilling over into the drain field that's not getting processed by the bacteria. So what you need to do in that case is give the septic tank a shot of Ridex, and that puts a lot of bacteria into the tank and can really help you out. Another thing you can do is you can divert your gray water off. Gray water would be like dishwasher, shower, drains, stuff like that. Keep that out of the septic system, and maybe even drain that down into, I don't know, you put it in a tank and then put a submersible pump in there and spray with it, spray the lawn with it. It's not going to hurt anything. It'd probably be good. Probably be good for the lawn. Next.
Haven and Lone Star want to know when the fencing class is.
Oh, I want to know if Lone Star's going to come back up for the fencing class.
Ah,
I think,
that would
yeah, we got to work on that.
that would be good because we can get that.
Because we have, yeah, we should get that in. This is the tribe day, and July 10th was supposed to be the family camp, right?
Yeah, July
Yeah.
10.
July 10th, but it says tribe day.
Well, same.
Okay, well that was gonna be I think the 10th is a Friday, so that would be, people could camp. That was the idea of that. And then people could bring whatever they do, and we'd have an area where you could share what you do, and when you tell us what you're going to share, then we can schedule it, so everybody will know at this time, Lone Star is gonna be teaching, mechanical drawing over at
But
his
get
tent.
hold of us because we're coordinating all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are gonna need to know if there's an interest in it. We've had, the Stumpos, it was their suggestion, but we haven't had anybody else that said they wanted to do that. I don't think that would be when we do the fencing class. I think the fencing class would be,
Separate.
huh?
I think it'd be separate unless you do
It
like
needs
a,
to be separate. No,
Yeah.
it needs to be separate, because that's a working day. If you have people show up for that, I'm gonna have stuff laid out, and, we'll have fun, but we will get a lot done. I wanna get a lot done. So we got 20 acres to fence out there, and it's, if you have people doing it, and people will learn while they're doing it too, and then they can step back and say, oh, okay, I see. That's one, was the key pieces of a carnivore lifestyle. One of the key pieces is a fencing system. What's going on over there? Okay. Okay.
It's okay.
Next question.
Oh, next question. Oh, then I'll just read it. I thought you were still talking.
I was until somebody doing something over there.
Gary wanted to know, can pigs rotate the pasture with other animals? Can we do a few cows, chickens, sheep, and pigs on the same pasture?
I don't think do them all on the same pasture. Okay, if you can figure out some of the challenges you're going to have are pigs eat chickens. Pigs will clean up the chickens' feed. So if you had feed out for the chickens, I don't know how you'd prevent the pigs from getting the chickens' feed. I don't know. So that would be a challenge. If you had water out for all of them, pigs would muck it up. I think you could have chickens kind of free ranging in there with pigs, especially if they're older ones, and if they had a place where they can go in and get away from the pigs, to lay eggs. I think that would probably work. I've never really had cattle and pigs together. I've had them on the same field, but at different times. Never had pigs and sheep together. Never had pigs and goats together.
But you can rotate these animals.
Yeah, you can rotate them through the same field, but I think he's asking,
is-
can he have them all
He says
together?
rotate the pasture.
I don't know
Oh,
as
no,
you can.
you're right. On the same pasture. Yeah.
Well, and I haven't done it, but as you're asking the question, I'm thinking, let's say that you've got a big field and you've planted it into something, and then you turn some pigs in there, you turn some calves in there, and it would be interesting for sure to see how they would coexist. Maybe they would coexist. We could change the little coexist bumper sticker to animal coexist.
Haven,
Maybe
there
we've
you
been.
go. Haven needs to design us a
There you go. A
coexist
coexist,
farm
yeah.
bumper sticker.
Yeah, like multi-species. Maybe this segregation is not quite fair to the pigs. Maybe the pigs.
Maybe they'd all do better.
Maybe we should read Animal Farm. Yeah, maybe they'd all do better if it was like, I don't know. It worked on the Ark, right? So, yeah, good question. There's a lot of data to get there.
What he meant was rotating them through one after the other or so. But
Yeah.
the idea of putting everybody together is, we pretty well put everybody together except pigs in with others, right? And the chickens are more ad hoc than intentional.
Well, calves or cows in on chicken tractors doesn't work because they'll break the chicken tractors apart to get in and get the feed that's in there. Same thing pigs would too.
And even in a layer house, they'd break in to get the
They
grain,
would. They'll
right?
break
So
in.
you can't run them together.
Yeah. So
They could free range, but not be allowed access to the.
and my problem with having chicken, how they say like you can run cattle over a field and then 4 days later the flies will have laid eggs and they'll mature to larvae, and then you can run chickens over it and the chickens will scratch it all apart and eat the larvae out of it. I love the theory, but the reality on this farm anyway is the chickens wind up at the house and they wind up in the garden, they wind up on the back porch, everything else. So of all the escapers that we have on this farm, the chickens are the worst. They're the worst, and they do the most damage. They really do, the layers. By the time you realize that they've escaped, they've climbed up on a car or something like that, and then they'll crap on it, or they'll jump up in a rollaway toolbox and crap in the top of that, or they do a lot of damage. They dig too. They're big diggers. I don't know. It seems like when you build an area to keep the chickens in, it seems like they compromise right at the base of the fence. They have all day to do it, and then they escape. I can't stand the little buggers. But I'm going to be rebuilding the area that we have this year, and I've got a plan. I'm going to put the wire of death. 1,000,000 volts. Chicken touches that, and they're going to be barbecued. Good.
All right, Lone Star wondered if pigs start rooting the pasture after all the cover's gone, or whenever they feel like it.
No, they're gonna, even before the cover's gone, they're gonna root. They love to dig. They love to dig. Our frost has just gone out, or it's going out right now, and I went out there today over by your place, close to your place, and it was deep holes that they had dug with dry dirt up on top. So they got through the frost, and then time to dig. Just good time. Having good times digging. That's what they do. That's what machinery's for, to get in there and smooth it out once in a while and replant it. It's okay. But don't get the idea that you could have a hay field, that you're going to cut hay off of, and then, when you're done cutting the hay, turn the pigs on there and they'll just eat what's left. They won't. They'll go after the roots, and they'll dig holes to lay in, and they'll look for water. They'll follow a worm down 10 feet, They dig, and all the things that people have done, putting rings in their nose and all that stuff, it just results in other behavior that you don't want. So put them on a field and say, dig away, boys, and they will. They'll take everything off, and then you run over it real quick with a cultivator, and you're ready to plant. It's really easy, and it's fun.
All right. Here's a timely one. Yeah, egg layers are sure the most expensive. The feed they go through over the years sure adds up. It's getting time to waterglass eggs pretty soon because they lay so many. And then giving them a break. How to cut feed costs on layers by giving them a break in the winter, and then you can feed them cheaper feed.
Yeah. So you want me to explain water glassing or what? Or just, okay.
Seasonal care
Seasonal
of
care
layers
of
to
layers.
save money.
Yeah.
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 That's what I was getting at.
Laying chickens can cost you a ton of money. They really can. And eggs are cheap. I mean, they're cheap. They shouldn't be, but they are. But here's what you want to do. If let's say that you have 30 layers, or let's say you have 30, and you're going to get 30 eggs a day, and then springtime comes along. Okay, well, the starting point will be springtime, and you're getting 30 eggs a day, and you're using about 12 in your house a day. So you've got all these eggs, and you're thinking, well, this is great. You're selling them for $2.50, and people really love them. And the $2.50 is making it easier, less painful when you go to buy more feed, because you got to buy that real hot layer feed. But then on towards the middle of summer, you're only getting 15 eggs. And then at the end of summer, going into fall, you're getting 4 eggs. And then wintertime, you're getting 2. And then it starts to pick up a little bit, and then it drops off. And all the people that were buying eggs from you are saying, hey, where's the eggs? And you don't even have eggs for your house. And all the while, you're feeding these expensive bags of feed to your laying chickens, and you're not getting your $2.50 for a dozen of eggs. So now it's starting to hurt. It's starting to really hurt. And your customers, they quit asking you. And then summertime comes, or springtime comes, 30 eggs a day, 30 eggs a day, they're building up, and you call people and they say, well, I thought you didn't have any. Well, I do now. And so people don't understand that. They think a chicken lays an egg every day. So the whole thing of laying eggs, laying chickens, and surplus and famine, feast and famine, there has to be a solution to it. Enter water glassing eggs. So in the spring, when your eggs are coming in real strong, actually this is not water glassing.
Water glassing,
this
technically, right?
What is it called?
Liming.
Liming. You're going to want to lime your eggs. Somebody set us straight on that. So then what you do is you get lime. You get pickling lime, or you can just buy a 50-pound bag of lime from the co-op or any place, because you're not going to eat it. It doesn't matter.
It has to be pickling lime, or
Why?
there's 2 kinds. That's what they talked about, because there's a certain amount of porousness, and the other one is more toxic. That's what they talk about
More
in the literature.
toxic?
That's what I know.
Well.
I've read. It does.
Okay, let's go with Jill's thing. Because if you buy pickling lime, you buy it in, 4-pound bags as opposed to a 50-pound bag that would be sitting around. You got to have it someplace. It's got to be dry and all that stuff, and you're not going to use it. So get the pickling lime. That's a better idea. Yeah, whatever. And you mix up a solution of 1 gallon of water and 1 cup. Is that it? A gallon to a cup?
An ounce to a quart, because I weigh 4 ounces of lime into a gallon of water.
That don't sound right. Maybe that's why.
That's what boys
Well, yeah, but we had a lot of them that went bad too.
Not before this year.
Well, anyway, so we're gonna have to check on that because that doesn't sound right to me. But I'm wrong, as I always am.
You don't do it.
No, I don't, but I'm the one that showed you how to do it. I'm the one that told you how to do it, right? All right. So anyway, you find out how to do this. And then you put those eggs in a 5-gallon bucket, and you put this lime water solution in there, and they sink. And they'll be preserved for a year. I think we have some in here that are over a year old and they're still good, but we got eggs starting up again, so I got a 5-gallon pail of eggs that I get to take out and feed to the pigs. And you get you get enough eggs stored that your family's gonna need, and then you put them someplace cool, just cool, not cold. And then you can cut the feed to your chickens. You can cut it, not off, but you can cut it and supplement it with stuff like potato skins. You know how when they sell sugar beets for deer feed, you can buy those things. Chickens will eat them. All the scraps from the house. They shouldn't be getting that high test feed. They shouldn't. But in the spring, yeah, they need it. They need it to get going. Some people will say, oh, hang a light in there and then that'll keep them going. Yeah, it will, but I mean, that's another drain off your bottom line. And you can do it. You can do it, but it is kind of a drain on you.
And actually, we butchered this last year 3- and 4-year-old hens that were still laying eggs because they had been allowed to do things naturally.
Yeah.
So that saves you money on replacement hens because replacement chicks are not cheap.
Right. Right.
So the longer they lay. Yep.
All right. Okay, we're at 82, so
Okay.
last one.
I got 2 more for you.
Okay, last 2
Anyway.
and that's it. I gotta cut.
Do you feed your dogs raw eggs? Some people insist on cooking the eggs. Why?
We feed them raw eggs. Only because people who insist on us cooking them don't know what they're talking about. I hate to be dogmatic, but that's really dumb. Dogmatic. It's really dumb. I mean, if a dog finds an egg, they will eat it. They won't say, "Ooh, gee, cook this for me before I eat it." Next. Hate to be dogmatic, but
And speaking of dogs,
yes.
not dogs, pigs. Abigail Norris wondered what would be a good breed of pigs to start out with for a small family farm.
Ooh. Probably Mangalitsa. Probably Mangalitsa. Yeah, definitely Mangalitsa. They're the best. Eat anything and they make real high quality fat and good quality lean, and you can feed them just about anything. So there you have it. Another successful Q&A is in the can, and we're going to be signing off and going and getting to our business here. I'm going to check out the shower down in the butcher shop. We'll be back talking at you tomorrow night, Thursday night. And remember, anyone can farm. Good night, folks.